Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Rittland. I'm John Rittland. This is a 30-year reflection of the WWE Saturday Night's Main Event episode from November 28, 1987. So I'm recording this days earlier. I was able to watch this at work during some downtime and everything on my phone. And barely got interrupted by anybody. That's how slow it was. Anyway, if this goes up before the 28th, just so you know, I'm going to upload it when I'm able to. I'm going to keep my channel as active as I possibly can during this time where I'm going to be working about, a bunch of days in a row over the course of almost the next 30 days. So I really appreciate you guys for supporting my channel and everything. I said this in my rapid fire episode, but I really appreciate it. This had a lot of continuation stuff from the October 3rd, 1987 edition of Saturday Night's Main Event, which was actually the previous episode, and I also did a 30-year reflection on that, so please check that out. I would really appreciate it. I will be doing more reflection shows in 2018 and possibly even 2019. I'm not so sure once I get to 2020. Sorry guys, I don't have 2020 vision. Sorry, that was terrible. That's going to be great though. That's going to be a constant joke in 2020. And then we're not going to be able to have 2020 vision anymore. Curse you, Father Time. But anyway, really good edition of it, even though it was bookended by a couple weird matches. Two matches in the middle were great. Especially one with Randy Savage and Bret Hart. But just going to get right to it. You had promos from Randy Savage, Bobby Heenan with King Kong Bundy, Hulk Hogan, Twilight Zone-esque, even a little bit of Twilight Zone music with Randy Savage. They were saying he was going to defend Elizabeth's honor. And, of course, Miss Elizabeth was right there with him, looking great as always. My God. Miss Elizabeth, it's amazing she got hotter even in WCW. It's like, great. It's terrible she died. God damn it, Lex Luger. Anyway, this is from Seattle, Washington. Had I known that this show existed at the time, or they were going to tape it, I would have begged my dad, at 6, almost 7 years old, can we please go to it? Can we please go to it? I would have saved up a little bit of allowance. I probably wouldn't have been able to do much, but it would have been kind of cool to go watch it. Ventura and Vince on commentary was when Ventura was really just nailing it and everything. His commentary in WCW left a lot to be desired, and if you want to talk about bitter wrestlers, sorry, Ventura seems pretty damn bitter. But that's another story for another day. I'm not saying whether he has a reason to be bitter or not. Irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. Mean Gene, and forgive me, I'm looking at my notes. Mean Gene interviews George Animal Steel. Of course, he's infatuated with the Miss Elizabeth doll. The Miss Elizabeth doll, by the way, is still a better wrestler and worker and talker than Sable could have ever been. I know they were never in the same company at the same time, but I hate the fact that people say, oh, Sable's this and this and this. And she couldn't even exude that much class, as opposed to Miss Elizabeth, who, at least on TV, exuded all the class. Yeah, Dangerous Danny Davis, wrestling referee, wrestler turned, referee turned wrestler, versus Georgie Animal Steel. It was mostly comedy. You had the crowd loving Georgie Animal Steel. Davis was a good slimy heel, using a foreign object, kept hiding in his tights, and then busting out to bust, George in the mouth or bust him in the throat. Quick DQ, George Animal Steel won. Yeah, it's his match, isn't really much. Savage interview, he hypes up his match with Bret Hart, which was great, by the way, and he kept saying, you're in the danger zone. So it's either a Kenny Loggins song, which wasn't much, but anyway. This was pretty fun. Pretty fun stuff, and then you had Bret versus Savage, and the funniest thing about this match is the reason this happened is because Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart cost Savage a chance to be IC champion on the previous episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, and it was really, really good stuff. It was, great, and please, again, go back and watch that. I really enjoyed doing that review. But you had Brian the Bust Bosworth there, because, he was a Seattle Seahawk, and he was a bust. Sorry, the guy was a bust. 30 for 30 thing on Brian Bosworth was great. The guy was a total bust. Anyway, Honky Tonk Man had a little interview piece. I'm not done with Elizabeth. Honky, he was playing a character, but Honky, of course, being a lecherous creep that he was. I can't stand Honky Tonk Man. Greatest IC champ of all time. No, longest reigning IC champion of all time. Please have somebody break that record. Shout out Jeremy8911 who suggested Elias should break it. I'm all for that. But anyway, I wish we got a full-fledged feud between Bret and Randy. We really should have gotten a full-fledged feud between them. Honestly, it's a shame we never did, or at least we didn't get a full-fledged feud. Except maybe on house shows. We might have gotten some matches on house shows. I really would have appreciated. They worked so well together. Bret got sent into the guardrail by Randy. That was a great thing. And of course, Jesse Ventura being, sexist like he was. I mean, sexist for a commentator. Elizabeth shouldn't even be out there. She can't defend herself like a man. Good job, Jesse. Glad you had to retire from wrestling because you were lousy at it anyway. Savage injures his ankle at one point and, sells it and everything and this kind of stuff. He wins with an inside cradle, like soon after, like Bret goes to power slam him. Savage rolls him for an inside cradle, 1, 2, 3. Really good stuff. Great match. Great match. He manages to outsmart the Hart Foundation afterwards and beat up Jimmy Hart, hit him with the megaphone, after Bret got hit with the megaphone when Jimmy accidentally hit Bret. Really good stuff. And actually would begin the ascent and, the fracturing. And the Hart Foundation would actually go on to be faces a bit after this. I mean, I think it would take a number of months, but they would be faces soon after this. But easily best match on the show, Bret versus Savage. Really, really good TV match. Really enjoyable. Go out of your way to see this. If you don't watch anything else on the show, watch at least that. Bobby Heenan had an interview with King Kong Bundy. Interview while Bundy was there. Bundy did a couple things, and that was it. Cool stuff. King Kong Bundy with Heenan and Andre the Giant at ringside versus Hogan. It was a WWF title match. It's about what you'd expect. Hogan injured his back. Bundy worked on it. Hogan fought from underneath to get sympathy and stuff like that. Bundy worked on Hulk's back, like I said. Andre caused a DQ. The referee said he would award the match to Hogan, or he would restart the match if Andre left. If Andre didn't leave, then King Kong Bundy was going to lose outright. And Andre had to leave, and he soaked all through his shirt. I mean, it must have been really hot, and of course, he was heavier and stuff like that. But anyway, it was more power versus power. Hogan ends up no-selling at one point, because that's all Hogan does, is no-sell. Heenan got Bundy the win, because basically Hogan was outside. It rolled Bundy back in, but Heenan held Hogan's boot, and Hogan's foot and everything, and he couldn't quite get back in the ring. He was on the apron, but he couldn't get back in the ring, so he got counted out, and it was really weird. But whatever. Anyway, Hogan ended up knocking Bundy out and picking up Heenan by his throat and stuff like that, choking him. But he was safer with it than Warrior was. Then again, I think giving a child to a meth head would probably be safer than working with Warrior. Sorry, I mean, I can't stand Warrior. It was good stuff though. Hogan lost by count out, so Bundy won, but he obviously didn't win the title. And he wanted a rematch at some point. Then he had Hercules versus Bam Bam Bigelow, and this ended a double count out. And then Bam Bam wanted it restarted. So it's like really, really weird. I mean, you only had about 12 minutes by the time the ring entrances got done, and they did a double count out like really quick. Bam Bam wanted it restarted. Amazing agility for a big man. It's such a shame that he never got to be a champion like he should have. In WWE, or even in WCW, I think he was a hardcore champion at one point. I think he was a TV champion at one point in ECW. But the whole point is that he should have been much more than he was. Bam Bam, tremendous worker. It's a shame that he died. I think he was 46 when he died. 46, 43 is one of the two. It's just still a real shame that he died as young as he did. Great agility, though. He wins with a quick splash over the ropes. I mean, that's a big man coming over. Pins Hercules. Decent enough match for what it was. Then you had a Bundy interview. Bundy and Andre had an interview. Hogan had an interview as typical, and that wrapped up the Saturday night's main event. But it was nice to see them continue the stories from the October 3rd, 1987 edition to this one. And this, of course, would build to the next one that would happen, February 5th, 1988, which would be Hogan versus Andre, the rematch, in the most watched edition of Saturday Night's Main Event, and one of the most watched editions of wrestling on TV, period. Which I will do a 30-year reflection on that, provided I'm not sick, because I got sick last February, and that was difficult. But This was a good edition of Saturday Night's Main Event. Especially go out of your way to watch the Savage versus Bret match. Had it been on a pay-per-view, they might have gotten more time, but they still got a really good amount of time here. And great storytelling. It was great stuff. I really enjoyed it. So anyway, that's what I gotta say about that. What did you guys think? Have you guys seen this episode? What do you think of it? Do you want me to do more reflection shows like this? Are there other companies you want me to branch out with? Make sure it's stuff on the network. But anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter links in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.